I want to read you a book called Read Me or Rue It by Father Paul O'Sullivan. Now, I did his book, The Wonders of the Holy Name, and this is another book on purgatory. It's really an excellent it's a booklet, of course. So I'll do it in different videos. I'm not reading the whole thing at once. Okay, and it's on, again, purgatory. So I'll start with the little intro. Have pity on me. Have pity on me, at least, you, my friends, for the hand of the Lord is heavy upon me. This is the touching prayer that the poor souls in purgatory address their friends on earth, begging, imploring their help, in accents of the deepest anguish. Alas, many are deaf to their prayers. It is incomprehensible how some Catholics, even those who are otherwise devout, shamefully neglect the souls in purgatory. It would almost seem that they do not believe in purgatory. Certain it is that their ideas on the subject are very hazy. Days and weeks and months pass without their having a Mass said for the holy souls. Seldom, too, do they hear Mass for them. Seldom do they pray for them. Seldom do they think of them, whilst they are enjoying the fullness of health and happiness, busy with their work, engrossed with their amusements. The poor souls are suffering unutterable agonies on their beds of flame. What is the cause of this awful callousness? Ignorance, gross, inexplicable ignorance. People do not realize what purgatory is. They have no conception of its dreadful pains, and they have no idea of the long years that souls are detained in these awful fires. As a result, they take little or no care to avoid purgatory themselves, and worse still, they cruelly neglect the poor souls who are already there and who depend entirely on them for their help. Dear reader, peruse this little book with care, and you will bless the day that it fell into your hands. Okay, I'm going to read chapter 1, and that was the little intro. What is purgatory? It is a prison of fire in which nearly all souls are plunged after death, and to which they suffer the intensest pain. Here is what the great doctors of the Church tell us of purgatory. So grievous is their suffering that 1 minute in this awful fire seems like a century. St. Thomas Aquinas, the prince of theologians, says that the fire of purgatory is equal in intensity to the fire of hell, and that the slightest contact with it is more dreadful than all the possible sufferings on this earth. St. Augustine, the greatest of the holy doctors, teaches that to be purified of their faults previously to being admitted to heaven, souls after death are subjected to a fire more penetrating, more dreadful than anything we can see, or feel, or conceive in this life. Though this fire is destined to cleanse and purify the souls, adds the holy doctor, still it is more acute than anything we could possibly endure on earth. St. Cyril of Alexandria does not hesitate to say that it would be preferable to suffer all the possible torments of earth until the judgment day than pass 1 day in purgatory. Another great saint says, our fire in comparison with the fire of purgatory is as a refreshing breeze. The other holy writers speak in identical terms of this awful fire. The fire we see. The title is How Comes It That the Pains of Purgatory Are So Severe? The fire we see on earth was made by the goodness of God for our comfort and well-being. Still, when used as a torment, it is the most dreadful one we can imagine. The fire of purgatory, on the contrary, was made by the justice of God to punish and purify us, and is therefore incomparably more severe. Our fire, at most, burns this gross body of ours made of clay, whereas the fire of purgatory acts on the spiritual soul, which is unspeakably more sensitive to pain. The more intense our fire is, the more speedily it destroys its victim, who, therefore, ceases to suffer, whereas the fire of purgatory inflicts the keenest, most violent pain, but never kills the soul nor lessens its sensibility. Unsurpassingly severe as is the fire of purgatory, the pain of loss or separation from God, which the soul also suffer in purgatory, is far more severe. The soul, separated from the body, craves with all the intensity of its spiritual nature for God. It is consumed with an intense desire to fly to Him, yet it is held back. No words can describe the anguish of this unsatisfying craving. What madness, therefore, it is for intelligent beings to neglect taking every possible precaution to avoid such a dreadful fate. It is puerile to say that it can't be so, that we cannot understand it, that it is better not to think of or speak it. The fact remains always the same, whether we believe in it or whether we don't, that the pains of purgatory are beyond everything we can imagine or conceive. These are the words of St. Augustine. Now, so that's the first chapter. I'm just going to end it there, and then I'll do, I think, chapter 2, and then maybe I'll do different chapters, because it's really something you need to think about. So, I'm very dedicated to the souls in purgatory. I pray for them constantly. And they're very helpful. Like, if you really need something and you ask them to really help you, they will. They're going to go to bat for you. I say the St. Gertrude prayer a few times a day. And I offer all my communions for them, my sufferings, my good deeds. I offer it all to them. And all the sufferings I've ever endured in my life. I know that this is the case, that this exists. And, whether or not I'm going to be there, well, that remains to be seen. I suspect I will. But if it's less intense and if it's shorter, well, then that's a good thing, right? So it's something that as Catholics we should really think about. And not put things that are serious out of our mind. Because, we're not staying here and life goes fast. So think about purgatory. And maybe get a copy of this little book, but I'm going to read it to you. So don't you worry about that. All right. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.